Jake Paul has said he's going to take 2 years and train MMA. And within 2 years of training MMA, he said this, I could even beat Tyron Woodley in MMA. Question is he right? He comes from a wrestling background. And the Pauls are tough guys. They're rough guys. Nobody wants to admit that. They are, and they've proved it. But they're better at wrestling than they are at boxing, in all fairness. They are more likely to be the Golden Gloves equivalent in the world of wrestling right now than they are in the actual Golden Gloves of boxing. I believe that. Limited footage that I've seen, but I do believe that. I do know their history, and I know all about Ohio, and I'm here to tell you, he would have a leg up. 2 years seems a little lofty. Set that aside because it's likely something we're never going to have to know. We're likely never going to have to debate this or figure it out. Why is Paul even talking about it? Why do all the boxers want to be MMA fighters and all the MMA fighters want to be boxers? Why is that? If you ever meet an athlete and you ever meet somebody in TV, all actors want to be athletes. All the athletes want to go and be actors. Why can't anybody be happy with what they got? And what kind of excuse that is? Like, what neighborhoods did you grow up in where you can get away with that? You go out and you whip somebody and the guy gets up after you licked him and says, well, yeah, but if we had done this or we had done that, if that had been different, I could have got you. You know, that actually got tested one time. You guys remember Matt Lindland? Matt Lindland got in a street fight in a parking lot of a Sherry's in Oregon City. Matt wins. Dude gets up and says, you couldn't have done that if I had my tennis shoes on. You only got me because I was in cowboy boots. My tennis shoes are right here in my car. I can prove it to you. When Matt told him, okay. Called a timeout to the street fight. Guy goes over to his Forerunner, drops the hatchback, takes his boots off, put the shoes on, comes back out. They fight again. Matt beat him again. Oh, I should mention, in the meantime, he had called his friends who were on the way down, and when they finally arrived and jumped out of the back of the truck, they had pipes, and Matt has scars across his skull still to this day, but Matt didn't want to do it the guy's way. What? Why would you ever do it the guy's way? Matt did that one time he fought in MMA, and Matt was fighting for the money. Make no mistake. Matt Lindland went and did a tough man contest. He had never boxed before. It was all boxing. He went and signed up for this. It was a 16-man bracket. So to win it, you have to beat 4 guys in one night, and Matt had never boxed before. He needed $1,000, and that's what it came with, $1,000 prize. So Matt shows up. They inform him, no, hey, man, this thing's all booked. He showed up like the same time the fans were coming in. Finds a pro, says, I'm in this tournament. They go, well, the whole thing's booked. You can't beat it. He's like, no, I don't think you understand. I'm going to be in this tournament tonight. I'm going to beat everybody. I need this $1,000. He had to get his wife a plane ticket. At any rate, something happened. Matt's in the tournament. He beats 4 guys in one night. He gets $1,000 for it, but that was a huge amount of money back. You want to know when $1,000 is a lot of money? When you ain't got it. My point being, he fought for money, and when Matt got into MMA, he goes over to Mexico. I saw this fight 5 times. This is like one of the holy grail tapes of MMA. But Matt does a fight. He stops the guy. Referee stops. TKO. The guy gets up and complains. Now, Matt doesn't have to do anything. This isn't broadcast to a worldwide audience. It's over. The decision was made. Matt's going to get his $2,500, which is what he went all the way to Mexico and got in a fight with the guy. No. Matt tells the ref, hey, he says he's not done. Come on, bring him back. I'll do it again. So the referee is now in a position, because they didn't have a commission, where the referee could go talk to the opponent and restart the fight. There's no reason that anybody in sound mind would do it. Matt told him to do it. So they fought again, and Matt kicked his ass again. Now, he only got the one pay, but I'm just suggesting for you, okay? Because I think that you guys will find that a very weird thing to do. And you'll probably really respect it, and you'll see the true competitor that was Matt Lindland, the guy that actually enjoyed the competition of battle. But you would also see it my way, which is this has already been settled. We're all done. Rematches are for a reason. They're not done that same night immediately following, right? Which does almost always make me think, why does somebody want to change the rules? Because every time that you go into battle, it's the people's court. You're agreeing ahead of time to settle our dispute here. And whatever the result is, we all agree to live the rest of our lives with that result. But nobody ever wants to. I mean, I've seen MMA guys that I respect, Chandler and Gaethje, 1 month ago, talking at the press conference. Whoever shoots first is a coward. Whoever takes the first step backwards isn't a real man. And they're both like agreeing to it and change the way that they fight. Why? Why would you ever do that? Your opponent just gave you a major tip that he doesn't believe he can stop your takedown. That's what he's telling you. And he's trying to goat you in and tell you you're a coward if you go for your takedown, that he secretly is really hoping you don't try, or if you do, he's got the ability to defend. He just handed you a major clue. There's no special honor in going into somebody else's rules. There's no special honor in doing it again. There's no special honor in leaving your best weapons in the back. There's a reason that you train. There's a reason that you prepare. There's a reason that you have your sharpest tools, and you should always bring them with you. Worry about looking good next time. This time, just win. Every fighter should have that same mindset. I want the biggest paycheck against the easiest opponent, and I'll worry about looking good next time. Tonight, I'm just going to win. And the guys that do that go on to have great careers. And the guys that don't put one pool in the boxing ring, and they put one foot in the MMA cage, and it's never worked out for anybody. Nobody's ever been successful at both at the same time. I don't believe that Paul's looking to go do this, but Paul does beat to the tune of a different drum. Your guys' opinion of Paul matters to Paul. He wants you to know he's a tough guy. He wants you to know that he worked hard and he sacrificed. He wants you to know that he has courage. And when you guys attempt to take those things away from him, it motivates him. That strikes me as a weird thing to be motivated by, but I do see it, and whether it's weird or not, it's not uncommon, and it's exactly what gets Jake Paul out of bed in the morning. And all athletes and competitors need something. And the guys that are doing it for the money, for the commas and the zeros, they don't get very far. It can't be about that. That's got to be a byproduct. This has to be competition first, me against you. Your family against my family, my city versus your city, your state versus my state, my country versus your country. You can take it to any level that you want, but everybody needs something. Jake Paul is operating very successfully on hate coming from people that he doesn't know who are doing something called trolling him over something that isn't regulated, known as the internet. I don't have a problem with it. But I also don't have a problem if Paul never does it. He can prove to me his grit. He can prove to me his guts. He can prove to me all the things that he's setting out to try to prove to all of you guys. And he can do that just in boxing. You could do it just in the world of wrestling. You could do it just in the world of track and field. Anything's hard, anything that's difficult, anything that would be easier, and human nature would make you want to sit down and stop, but you don't. You go forward anyway. I will look at you for what you want me to see, which is a winner.